Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. I said what I said. If you know, you know. But if you like all things that are pop culture, funny meme videos, TV and film, commentary, reviews, media, or anything just in entertainment and social society, then please subscribe to my channel. All right, today's topic, we are going to be talking about Love is Blind Season 6, which premiered on Netflix on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Interesting. But before we get started, make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel and like the video. Okay, starting off with the cast. Okay, part one, the cast. I am only going to be referencing and talking about the main important relevant people of the season, including the love triangles and the couples themselves. I understand that there were many people that were on the season, but I'm only going to speak about the ones that everyone are familiar with. Okay, starting first with Jimmy. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, or Jimmy the Cricket, as I like to call him, or as the internet likes to refer and troll him as Thumb. Anyway, Jimmy is a 28-year-old software sales representative. I don't know where he's from, but that's irrelevant. Jimmy said that he went on Love is Blind to find love and he was definitely ready for marriage. However, I feel like that was true up until one of the ladies that he was involved with mentioned that she looks like Megan Fox. If you don't know, Jimmy was in a love triangle between two women, Chelsea and Jessica. I feel like he had a relationship connection somewhat to both women, but more so with Jessica. I felt like they had some things until Jessica started mentioning her daughter, which we will talk about when we get to her character. More so with Chelsea, I felt like there wasn't much chemistry in the pods, but I felt like he did like her until she mentioned that she favors the Megan Fox. And I felt like all of that went out the window and he was just instantly like, fuck all this. I just want to marry you. I want to see what you look like. You say you bad like Megan Fox. Bet. Let's get married today, right now. And that was his downfall.
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real.
Okay, time for Miss Megan Fox, aka Miss Uncomfy, aka AD, how you get your body like that, Miss Chelsea Blackwell. Chelsea is a 31-year-old flight attendant and event planner. She said Love is Blind is basically everything she could have ever imagined and dreamed of for looking for love, which should tell you everything you should know about her. No, I'm just joking, but seriously. Chelsea was very insecure. Like, it seemed like she relied on validation from men and just from people telling her these different things. As far as the Megan Fox thing go, first off, she's wild for even bringing that up. She's even wilder for acting like she didn't even know Megan Fox's name. If you've been hearing from people that you look like a celebrity, specifically Megan the Fox, you're telling me you don't know her name? You just know her as MGK's wife or girlfriend? She's more famous than him. Let's start there. But that's what you know her from, not from Transformers or Jennifer's Body or just her being a beautiful woman. Like, let's be for real. But that's besides the point. My whole thing was Chelsea definitely opened up about her being cheated on and her trust issues, but it definitely showed with her relationship with Jimmy, which we would definitely touch on when I talk about the couples. But specifically about Chelsea, she definitely needs to work on her inner self-esteem, self-love, and just accept who she is. Ma'am, you do not look like Megan Fox. I think maybe in the eyes to the eyebrows, yeah, I get it. Y'all both have beautiful ocean eyes and you have brown hair. But let's be for real. You are no one's Megan Fox. Maybe Megan off of Temu, but not Megan Fox. I'm sorry. Let's be for real. I genuinely feel like she was a sweet woman. Like, she seemed like she had a sweet demeanor and personality. Little insane, but very sweet. But I just feel like she just wore her insecurities on her sleeve. Which is okay. Most girls, it doesn't matter which age you are. Sometimes your insecurities can get the best of you. But my God, did they not show on this entire season of Love is Blind? I mean, it made for entertainment, but my good God, I cannot believe it. But anyway, we will talk more about them both on the couples portion.
When you see and realize what you missed out on, you are going to choke.
Okay, now on to Miss You're Going to Choke herself, Miss Jessica Vestow, who is a 29-year-old executive assistant. I mean, if we're being fair, she didn't lie, because oh boy definitely did choke when he saw Jessica, basically a Kardashian, as he stated in the show. There's not really much I could say about Jessica. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, obviously, and she was definitely one of the women on the show who look well put together and just a beautiful and whatnot. But unfortunately, the thing that rubbed me the wrong way about Jessica, and it's a one critique kind of thing that was kind of annoying, which I'm pretty sure all y'all can guess, was the fact that she made the fact that she is a mother to a 10-year-old daughter her entire personality. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing being a mother and loving your children or loving your child and wanting to give them the entire world and stuff. But that shouldn't be the only thing about you. Like, there should be more depth, some more substance or something else about you. What's intriguing about you? Even when Jimmy asked in the pods, like, what is your day-to-day? Like, what is your typical day like? And she's like mentioning everything pertaining to her daughter, which may be true and may be her day-to-day. But like, his whole thing was, like, besides your daughter, what else is about you? Like, what's interesting about you? Like, what do you do? Like, are you, I don't know, like, do you jog or some shit? Like, what do you do? Like, what is your day to day? Like outside of your daughter, what is, like, who are you? And I feel like she don't really know who she is. Like, she's just a beautiful woman, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people have told her. But outside of that, I don't think she has much to her, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, you know, one trick pony. Like, you kind of get what you get. It's just a beautiful woman who is a mother, and that's all there is to her. It's kind of like when you meet some people and like they have one thing about them and they use that as their personality trait. Like, you meet someone who's gay and they make gay their entire personality. Like, it's like, okay, do you want a cookie or something? Or when I think about some YouTubers who are super successful and have a lot of money, but it's like, if you took all that away, the success, the accolades, and the money, they're still, you know, these corny, cringy pieces of shit, and they have nothing else to offer. They're just that. It's kind of how I view Jessica, not to that magnitude, but like somewhere close in that, you know, where it's like, what else is about you, honey? Like, come on now. What else is there, Jessica? Let's give some more. I'm going to talk a little bit more about her in the sense of the love triangles between her, Jimmy, and Chelsea when I get to the couples, but that's basically my thoughts on Jessica. Ooh-wee, look what that money make a bitch do. Well, let's talk about Mr. Self-proclaimed Mr. Toxic himself, Trevor. Trevor is a 31-year-old project manager. What can I say about Trevor? Ooh, Trevor. For starters, I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning, I genuinely thought that he was like a genuine person. Like, especially when he was in the pods with Chelsea and he was vibing and connecting with her. I thought they had a good rapport, like a good chemistry going. And I could see it. Like, I could see it working out. I could see them as a couple. Like, I feel like they are equally matched to one another. You know, he was comforting her in her insecurities, and she was being open and vulnerable with him, like match made in heaven. Then, oh boy, got exposed, and I was like, let me rewatch the season again to get a different perspective, and also just for purposes of this video. And when I look back at their scenes, I was like, oh my God, how did I not see he was so full of shit? Literally, like, just basically telling her everything that she wanted to hear. And it, like, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow. I feel like there were some things that were kind of genuine on his side, but overall, I was just like, yeah, nah, sir. Everything you say is just full of shit. And the fact that he even got exposed at the reunion and his whole demeanor was just, he couldn't even answer. He was just sitting there just with his mouth open, stuck. Hilarious. Like, hilarious. So if you don't know, Trevor got exposed for having a whole girlfriend the entire time. But not only that, apparently she came out on her Instagram and she exposed Trevor. She basically said that 3 weeks before the air or the show even aired or started, he basically ghosted her, broke up with her, and just completely just fell off the face of the earth with no clarification or nothing. And basically she had to find out that this man was on a show. But not only that, he was also communicating with her on the show, basically sending text messages talking about, I love you, I want to marry you, I want to be with you, as he was trying to get to know Chelsea. And it's like, sir, that's just nasty work. Not only do you ghost your actual girlfriend to be on a show about love and potentially finding love and potentially getting married to someone that you may have a bond of connection with, but you're also keeping communication with her, talking about you love her and you want to marry her. Even after the show, when it gets exposed, you're still doing the same thing, leading Chelsea on to believe that y'all may have a connection. Like, what if she actually chose you instead of Jimmy? Then what? Just nasty work. Nasty, nasty, nasty work. Face giving. Body tea. Skin glowing. She that bitch. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Miss Amber Desire, aka AD. AD is a 33-year-old real estate broker, and she was by far one of my favorites on the show. Like literally just a beautiful, articulate, intelligent woman with some common sense. Like, we love to see it. She just seemed very well put together and just someone who you would want to just see win in life, you know? And I love that. I love that about her, and I love that for her. I just think AD was just a great addition to the show. And again, I'm going to keep reiterating, I literally wanted to see her win. However, where there is smoke, there is fire. And where there is good, there is bad. With that being said, I love AD. Shit, I even love her facial expression. She was giving us so many iconic, memeable facial expressions when she was clocking Matthew and Clay. Like, I'm just like, yes, girl, because same, period. But here's my thing with AD. She kind of reminds me of Chelsea in a sense. Not in the sense that she's insecure. I mean, personally, I don't know her personally, so I don't know if she's insecure. I know we are human, so we all have insecurities. But as far as like, she just accepted what she can and what she could accept. Meaning with Matthew and Clay, which is, by the way, the little love triangle she was in. With Matthew, he was just basically regurgitating stuff that he was telling one girl to her and just telling her everything she wanted to hear. And she was kind of eating it up. Like, oh my God, thank you, Matthew. And then with Clay would just, you know, he would give her compliments about her body and stuff, or just, I don't know, but he would mainly tell on himself and basically say, look, I came from an ain't shit family. My dad ain't shit. He took me on his little infidelity trips. And on top of that, he treated my mom like shit. So most likely through genetics and hereditarily, I'm going to treat you like shit and I'm going to cheat on you. He didn't necessarily say it like that. I'm exaggerating, but basically that's what I got from it. He's basically like, listen, I'm going to cheat on you. And she's just like, yeah, Clay. And I wanted so much more for her. It's like if a guy is showing you a map full of red flags, baby, you got to listen. You got to pay attention to them, especially if they're telling you and showing you this early on. Even with him telling her, your body can't, you know, you can't lose the figure you got. You need to get your ass in the gym. Like, sir, you need to work on leg day before you come and talk about me and what I need to work on. Like, just things like that, like red flags. And I feel like she just kind of accepted it. Like, I can change him. You know, this is part of his growth and his journey. And it's just like, no, baby. He's literally telling you and showing you he ain't shit. Like, I want so much more for you. I want you to be happy and I want you to experience being someone who can have love and showing that. We need that representation on TV anyway. Like, you know, I don't want her to accept mediocrity. And maybe I'm reaching when I say this, but me being also a black woman myself, I'm a caramel-skinned black woman. So I say that to say, I don't know what it's like to be a dark-skinned black woman. I don't know their experiences from nature. I may know from stories I've heard or things I've seen and stuff, but I don't really know because I'm not a dark-skinned woman. So I say that to say, I don't know really what AD's experiences with love has been like in her life. But the way it seems like she accepts what she can, which is bare minimum, mediocrity, and just settling for less. And I don't love that for her because I want her to accept more. And I feel like she's the type of person, if people are not complimenting her body or her figure, then they're just going to just tell her what she want to hear. She's going to eat that up. And I don't like that. I want her to see through the bullshit and meet someone who truly loves her for her, you know? Like, I don't know. When I say she's an intelligent woman, I mean that. When I say she has common sense, I literally mean that. I mean, like, she was getting the people together, from exposing Matthew, from basically saying one thing to Amber to telling her the same thing and clocking his tea, to also putting Sarah Ann in her place and letting her know, girl, you out here texting an engaged man, telling him the door is open and your options is limited. You can have me. Like, no, baby. No. And she let her know. And I love that because it's like, girl, read a room. That's not okay. But we'll get to her. This ain't about her. My point being is I just want so much more for AD. Like, she just seems like a classy, beautiful, intelligent woman. And I want people to recognize her for that. But that's just me. All right, let's talk about the walking red flag himself, Mr. Clay. Clay is a 31-year-old entrepreneur in enterprise sales. I read an article where Clay stated that basically in his past relationships, he was very blunt and he always had a very blunt delivery and it kind of hindered his relationships. But he basically won't compromise on being himself, and that when he's searching for a soulmate, he's searching for someone who wouldn't change him or is looking to change him, or his self-admitted huge ego, which he knows would and could annoy his potential and future wife. If that doesn't tell you everything you should know about him, I don't know what will. But let's talk about Clay. Clay is not only a walking red flag and a huge manipulator, but he is ultimately a fuck boy. Yeah, a self-proclaimed, well, he didn't claim it, but he is technically a fuck boy. Even his homeboys kind of said it without saying it on the day of the wedding between him and AD. Clay is what I would describe as someone who is a grown man with a childish mentality, or basically a little boy trying to cosplay as a grown man. For one, Clay did not come on the show for love, which I feel like was very obvious. Clay came on the show for two reasons: for clout and promo for himself and businesses that he probably is into or invested in, and to also see who he could fuck on. Like, basically just see what the options were with the women on the show, like who he can mess around with and see what's going on. Hence why, instead of asking questions about personality and their life and stuff, he's asking shallow questions like, well, I'm all about appearance. What you look like, what you shape like. Do you got nice lips? I'm into lips, butt, hips, thighs. Like, while his crusty ass feet was just out. Like, sir, the audacity. But, I mean, my God. But that's not even really what annoyed me. What annoyed me was the manipulation and just the lack of responsibility and accountability on his part. So the manipulation part is one thing for you to say that you love someone and keep saying that and say that they're your best friend, they're your person, but then you are constantly telling them, basically, I'm going to cheat on you, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to fuck around on you, and I'm basically going to break your heart. But I do love you, though. I want you to stay with me. I do love you. I need you to be my rider, my solid, my rock. But I am going to fuck around and hurt your feelings. Just to give you a heads up. Just put it out there. Manipulation at its finest. Because, sir, what? Excuse me? Huh? And then what really annoyed me was, it's one thing to be vulnerable and open about your past and your life and things that you went through, especially if they were traumatic or you didn't understand. Like, for instance, Clay talked about to AD when his dad used to take him on infidelity trips and he never really grew up watching or experiencing or witnessing like true black love, like an actual faithful marriage between two people, because his dad always cheated on his mom. And not only did he cheat on his mom, but he took him on the trips when he cheated. Either he took him on trips where he basically would go fuck on another woman and Clay would know about it, or he would take them to where he would go fuck on these women and basically probably introduce these women to Clay, and Clay is just getting exposed to all this nonsense and madness, and that's what he think is okay. Either way, there's no excuse. Clay is 31, like I mentioned, his big ass age. You are a grown man. You're capable of making decisions for yourself that says, even though this was my life before and I was exposed to this and, this was my experiences, I don't have to do that. You are not your father. You don't have to follow in your father's footsteps. Your father talking about that your mom was his best friend and the love of his life and his person, but then he still hurt her. And I'm pretty sure there was a lot that your mom didn't even know that he did, but you did. And that's not love. So it's like you making excuses talking about, yeah, basically it's in my DNA, it's in my genes. I'm going to cheat on you. I'm going to fuck around and be a fuckboy. It's just in listen, my dad was that way. I'm going to be that way too. No, dumbass. You can make the decision to say, if I love this woman, I'm going to do right by her. I'm going to treat her right. I'm not going to do what my dad did, which means you know what you're doing and you know what kind of person you are and you know that you want to hurt her. At the end of the day, you know that you have the intentions of hurting AD. And the last thing I would say about Clay was it's just fucked up how the whole situation played out. I'm going to dive more into it when I talk about them as a couple, but to wait till you get to the altar. Not only that do you compliment her body, but not just you're beautiful, or my God, you're stunning. Compliment her body, and then you basically hit her with the look. I love you. You my shawty doo-wop, but I gotta go. You not for me for real. I'm not healed for real. And I don't see this really it's just not it. I'm not ready for this. Sir, you can just basically tell her that maybe the night before, weeks before you even decided to create the wedding or whatever, where your family's involved and her family's involved. It's just fucked up in its entirety. And I truly just felt bad for AD in that moment, because it's just like, imagine that. Feeling beautiful just to be fucked around by this man. The audacity. Ugh. All right, let's talk about Matthew. Matthew is a 37-year-old senior financial advisor. Matthew was a pretty interesting cast member. For one, he just seemed so disinterested in every girl and just seemed like he'd care less about who they were, what they had to say, or anything. He just seemed like, I'm here, they planted me here, and I'm just here. But he definitely clearly had a thing for the Ambers on the show. So if you don't know, there were two Ambers on the show. There was one girl named Amber and then AD, whose real name is Amber. But it's funny because he would go to AD and tell her everything that she wants to hear, and she was eating that shit up. And then he would go and tell the other Amber the same exact thing. And both Ambers are just sitting there. And they're like, wait a minute. He said what to you? And Amber basically exposed everything and was like, yeah, this man ain't shit. And AD confronted him. It's like, yeah, you basically been telling me everything, but you told this bitch the same thing. What's up with that? And instead of him taking any ownership, he was like, well, America know what kind of guy I am, and do you have another connection? She was like, yeah. Okay, well, I'm just gonna let you go. Huh? What? Sir? I don't know. I'm not trying to call this man names, but he just gave me sociopath, kind of energy. And I don't know. I know he was basically the seasoned villain on the show, even though I kind of disagree with that kind of sort of, but that's another story. I will say I do think it's hilarious how when he was trying to get to know the different women, from Jazz to Sarah Ann to the Ambers, he had the questionnaire and he was basically clocking all these girls' tea with the questionnaire. But the really funny thing that he did for me was when he walked out on Sarah Ann, because where did that come from? I mean, she was talking a lot, but this man really got up and dipped. Hilarious. And she deserved it too. I don't care. She deserved it, but that was hilarious. I know this man got a lot of flack, and I know everyone thinks he's the worst person on the show and he shouldn't have been casted, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of enjoyed him. He wasn't that bad. He wasn't boring, but he wasn't entertaining either. He was kind of in the middle. Like, he had his moments, and I feel like he fumbled when he told both Ambers the same thing, thinking that they weren't going to talk to each other, like dumb. But I don't know, it would have been interesting to see more of him. It is interesting to me that both him and AD kind of went on a few dates after the season was over. Like, girl, what? But yeah, that's my thoughts on Matthew. Okay, this was part 1 of my Love is Blind commentary for season 6. Part 2 will consist of the rest of the cast members, my opinions and thoughts on each couple individually and even the thruples, the tea on the reunion, and my overall opinion about season 6. Stay tuned, like the video, comment, and be prepared for the next video.